Hello and greetings, my friends. In today's video, I'm sharing with you 2 easy dinner ideas and 1 dessert or breakfast or snack idea, however you choose to use it. So let's get right into this video. So our very first dinner idea is an easy 1-pot sun-dried tomato and chicken pasta. Everything is put together in 1 pot, which makes this go by very, very fast. Now, I like to add mushrooms to mine. Of course, some people do not like mushrooms, so you can definitely leave out the mushrooms. But guys, it is so much better with it in there. I promise, it's so good. And you get all the nutrients too from the mushrooms. I have been on a sun-dried tomato kick recently. I had talked about in a previous video about purchasing sun-dried tomatoes from Costco because it is the most cost-efficient way of purchasing it, because usually you can get like a jar at like Winco or Walmart or Target for like $5 for like an 8-ounce jar. But if you get it at Costco, it's around $12. Sometimes you can even get it on sale too for a really large jar, and you can keep that jar in the fridge. It'll last for a really long time. Also, all of the exact measurements are going to be in a recipe. I will link that in the notes box down below. So if you guys are interested in making this, everything will be right there for you guys. So you're just gonna season up this chicken with a bunch of different seasonings, and then you're gonna remove the chicken from the pan because we're gonna now cook up our mushrooms. So you could technically do this all together, but I really like to let my mushrooms saute down along with the onions. So I'll let it saute on its own for about 5 minutes while the chicken that I just removed from that plate is sitting in its own clean bowl, and I covered it with foil just to keep it warm because we are going to add that back in later. So once your onions and mushrooms have cooked down, you're going to add in your garlic. You want to add that in about 30 seconds to a minute once you're about to add in your sun-dried tomatoes and your pasta, because you don't want your garlic to burn. And speaking of pasta, you can use any type of pasta you want. You can use any short type of pasta. Penne pasta is great. Ziti. Here I am using rigatoni, but whatever you want to use is great. And I am using chicken broth as the water, but if you don't want to use chicken broth, you can always use water, but I wanted that extra flavor to it, so I'm using some chicken broth. And we are going to let this pasta cook in the broth or water, whatever you choose to use, for about, I think, 10 minutes or so. You don't want to cover it because you do want to continually stir it just to make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom. So once it does come up to that boil, though, you want to lower the heat a little bit, set your timer for about 10 minutes. You don't even have to set a timer. You'll be able to know once all of the chicken broth or water has dissipated and the pasta has cooked thoroughly. That's when you know it's done. It's usually about 8 to 10 minutes though. And then you're going to add in your heavy cream and your Parmesan, and you're going to mix that well till it's really creamy, and then add a big handful of spinach. And of course you can always add more. It does wilt down. I added about 2 cups here, and I definitely could have added more, but I just wanted to stick to the 2 cups. And then once that has wilted down, you're going to add in your cooked chicken with the juices. Whatever juices are in that bowl, go ahead, get that guy into the pot because that'll help flavor it even more. And then you can just top it off with some additional Parmesan cheese and some chopped basil, or even some chopped parsley on top is really, really good. But guys, that is it. And you don't have to do anything else. You already have your protein, which is the chicken, your starch, which is the pasta, and you have veggies. You've got mushrooms and spinach in there. You really don't have to add anything else to it unless you wanted to add like a side salad or something. But really, everything is all in 1 pot, and dinner is served. Moving into our next dinner idea, this is just a roast chicken with some roasted potatoes. Guys, this is really, really easy, and this is very budget friendly as well because it's much cheaper to buy the entire chicken like this versus buying just the parts. So what you're going to need here are a bunch of different seasonings. You can use literally any seasoning that you want. I'm also using, for my choice of fat, melted butter. You can always use olive oil or coconut oil, but for today I'm using melted butter. So to begin, you're going to want to make sure that your chicken is really, really dry. That is how you're going to get that nice crispy skin in the oven. So make sure it is really dry. Just dab it with some paper towels, and then you're going to add on your butter. You're going to just kind of brush it on there. I like using a silicone brush, but you can use whatever type of brush. I know there's other like bristle brushes, but I don't like those little hairs like come off, so I switched to silicone a long time ago. And then you're going to sprinkle on your seasonings. Now, I mentioned you can use whatever you want. I personally like this combination, but you can also of course add like rosemary or sage, whatever you have, just make it your own. And we are going to roast this chicken in the oven at 425 degrees for about 1 hour and 10 minutes. But we are also going to make sure that the oven rack is in the middle and that there's another oven rack beneath it because we're going to roast up some potatoes too at the exact same time, probably about 20 or 30 minutes after the chicken has been in the oven, but everything is going to come together really quickly. We're utilizing the oven for both of these recipes, so let's start making the roast potatoes. So what you're going to do, in a cookie sheet, you're going to line it with some foil. Make sure that you have like a ridge around your foil so that none of the butter melts off, but we're going to melt that butter in the oven while we chop up our potatoes. So I am using some gold potatoes and I am chopping them lengthwise, and if they are too large, I'm going to chop them lengthwise and then chop them again in half. And what we are wanting is when we lay the sliced potatoes down on the side that we cut them on, we're going to get that side really, really crispy, and the inside is going to be super tender and just like buttery. Oh, it's so good and ridiculously easy. So as far as the seasonings go, I'm just using seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and some pepper, and I'm going to pour it all over that butter. I'm just going to sprinkle it all over the butter, and I'm going to take another clean silicone brush, and I'm going to mix all those seasonings up together with the butter. And then I'm going to start placing my potato slices down, sliced down if you can. And once you have all of your potatoes on your cookie sheet, you're going to use that silicone brush and kind of get in between the potatoes to pick up some of that seasoned butter and brush it over the tops, because you want the tops to be seasoned as well, because we're not flipping these guys. However they're going into the oven is how we are taking them out. So that's what makes this so simple. And to just kind of show you what we're looking for in the potatoes, when you flip one over, you're going to look for like a nice crust on that potato. Oh, it's so good. And then you're just going to serve it up with your chicken and your side of veggies. And you're going to want to make sure that you rest that chicken though about 10 minutes before you slice it, just so that the juices don't run anywhere and they stay intact in the chicken. And the very last recipe I am sharing with you guys is a blueberry muffin recipe. You can use this as a dessert, breakfast, or snack, however you want to use it. We use it for all three because they are so good. They are copycat Starbucks blueberry muffins. So yummy. I've been making this forever. So we recently went blueberry picking and we got like 7 to 8 pounds. We gave a pound away, so I think it was about 8 pounds that we picked. But I needed to make some blueberry muffins because that's what I always make every time we go and pick blueberries. And this muffin recipe, guys, is a major winner. So I really hope that you guys end up giving this a try. And if you end up trying any of the other recipes, definitely leave me a comment down below or even on my recipe blog. That would be awesome too. So while we are mixing up our wet and dry ingredients together, I thought now would be a great time to introduce myself to those that are new and have made it this far. My name is Alicia, and here on my channel you can find a lot of food related content. I love going grocery shopping and sharing with you guys my hauls from Costco, Winco, Walmart, and just sharing meal ideas for my family, dessert ideas. I love to bake and cook. I also have some travel vlogs and some family stuff. So definitely stick around. I hope that you guys do, and please subscribe and leave me a comment down below because I love to chat with you guys. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself, but when you guys leave comments, it just makes me so much happier. So definitely leave me a comment. I wanted to share a different way that you can line your muffin tins. I like to use parchment paper where I just make my own squares. It kind of gives a rustic, like bakery look to your muffins. You could do that. You could, of course, purchase just the parchment paper liners, the muffin liners from Amazon. I'll link others that I buy too. This is just one way to use up your parchment paper if you have a ton on hand. Again, it's probably way easier to just buy the liners, but you know what? This is fine. I'm fine with this. I didn't have any liners. I think I had like neon green liners, and I did not want to use those because they just look too Halloween-y. So I decided just to do this route, and I've used it many times before. But what I like to do is I actually use my kids' cups because they fit inside those muffin tins, and I kind of squish down the parchment paper to make its own mold so that when I go in to put the papers into the muffin tin, it's easier for the batter to be contained inside the parchment paper. So that's what I do. Just find anything that'll fit into your muffin tins. Of course, you can use like pie weights. I have pie weights too. But again, easier would probably just be the store-bought cupcake liners. Now I fill my tins up all the way to the top with muffin batter, and I think that's another reason why I like using my own parchment paper liners, is because I can fill it even past the line, because I want really tall, beautiful looking muffins. So using my own liners like this just helps make them a little bit taller. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a delicious streusel topping over the top just to give it some texture, some crunch whenever you go to bite into it. Oh, it's phenomenal. Friends, look at how big and tall these muffins are. Oh my gosh, they are so good. Loaded with juicy, fresh blueberries, and then that streusel topping on top. You can kind of see it right there. So good. And with these muffins, guys, you can always wrap these individually in plastic wrap, stick them in freezer Ziploc baggies, and keep them in the freezer for up to 3 months. And then when you're ready to eat them, you just pull them out whenever you want them, let them defrost on your counter, and then just zap them in the microwave for like 10 to 15 seconds, and it'll get them nice and warm and will taste exactly like a fresh baked blueberry muffin. All right, my friends, and that is it for this video. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel on your way out. I would really appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.